Relax, the keyboard is off and the press box is closed and the mic is just getting warmed up as the Guardian of the Blue Paint turned writer is about to enlighten us. The show where the writer is fresh off the presses and the ink is not dry. For this week's show, the Hockey Writers Inc. celebrates show number 100. Welcome to the Hockey Writers Inc. Join Lance and Steel as we bring you all the latest on the Flyers.
Hi guys, welcome back to a very special edition of the Hockey Writers Inc. I'm your host, Lance Green.
And as always, I'm your co-host, SteelFlyers, and it's a very, very special edition. What do you think?
I'm ready, yeah. I'm ready.
Yeah, man. Okay, so what's so special about this edition? Well, let me tell you something, folks. We never thought that we would get to this point, and here we are. This is our 100th show.
Century mark, yeah.
Congratulations, Mr. Green. Woo, woo. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we've done 100 shows. I mean, I never would have thought we'd ever make this number. I never thought that, you people out there would want to keep us around. I mean, as long as you guys keep watching, we're going to keep putting it out there, you know what I mean? And
right.
As long as Lance still writes the articles, which, ladies and gentlemen, the Writer Extraordinaire is back. Yeah. Oh, man, I have so missed reading good articles, well-written articles, well-thought-out articles, proper punctuation, proper tense. I mean, it's not really rocket science, okay? But and the subject. I mean, I love the title of the latest article. Oh my God!
I played around with that a little bit, yeah, but I like that.
Oh man, him and the editor-in-chief are getting quite creative here now. So article that was just posted recently to SteelFlyers.com, and I'm telling you what, folks, you got to check out the new site. You got to check out the shop. You can get one of these bad boys, right?
Look at that.
Oh yeah, buddy, some swag. Got to get some of that, man. You can go into the shop and drop $25 plus shipping and handling and get a T-shirt and support the show and support us and show everybody out there that the Hockey Writers Inc. is all that in a bag of unopened Doritos.
There you go. They are very nice T-shirts too. The screen print, whatever, it stays on very nice through the wash. You don't have to be so nitpicky with it or anything like that. It holds up. So
for real, and they are true to size. They are true to size. So like if you get an extra large, it's an extra large. A large is you know what I mean. So they are true to size and they fit really nice. As you can see, I'm wearing mine and it's nice and comfortable. Well-made T-shirts, so got to check them out. We have the SteelFlyers All Sports Network T-shirt. We also have the Hockey Writers Inc. And then we also have the Pearl of Wisdom show. So you got to go check that one out. So go check out the shop. It's SteelFlyers.com/shop, and you'll be able to get all your SteelFlyers merchandise from there. So be looking at some point here in the future for other things to come. But we had to start somewhere, so we got some T-shirts. So all right. Anyway, the article. The title of the article: Tortorella and his Bad News Bears have surprised many people thus far. So how can he ensure their play will be sustainable? Now, I get it; it's a long title, but I got to tell you something, man. I really like the approach because it does kind of seem like the Bad News Bears, where some of the guys on the team really shouldn't really be on an NHL roster, to be honest with you. I mean, Look, we don't hold any punches here. We never have, and we're never gonna. That's why you guys watch us. But so, and their style of play right now is exactly what you say. Can it be sustained? So that's kind of what I did was I basically broke down your article and I created a whole bunch of points that I want to get into. That's basically what was based off of your article. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was good, well timed too, guys. Definitely going into the game last night, the main point later on in the article, which probably Steel will break down here in a second, showed just why I questioned, whether it will be sustainable. So
exactly, and all you had to do was watch last night's game, and you can see exactly what we're talking about, because Even Tortorella in his press conference after the game before, because they had a back-to-back and they were playing, they had played Tuesday night and then they played Wednesday night against Toronto and Florida, respectively. And so, I'm sorry, New York. Played a really awesome game against New York.
Yeah, tough, hard
right?
fought.
I mean, I was impressed. The fact that we stood toe-to-toe with New York, got completely
outshot,
obliterated in shots, right? They peppered him.
Yeah. Carter Hart in that, yes.
Yeah, Carter Hart in that, yeah. 0-0 all the way till you get to the end. And it was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they just scored that goal.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Carter Hart deserved that shutout for sure. He kept a minute.
Exactly. So I'm with you on that. So then we get to the next game of the back-to-back. And this is where the big letdown is. This is where, this is what I don't understand. Like, they had a back-to-back earlier in the season with Florida and was it New Jersey?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. I can't remember who it was, but I know that the other side of the back-to-back game was Florida. And they had Carter Hart in the net the previous night and won. And then the very next night, they had a back-to-back, and they put the backup goalie in and lost. But then they had a 4-day rest between that game and the next game.
Yes.
Okay, so your article basically points out that what I'm about to say. Why is Carter Hart not the main man, pots and pans? I don't care if it's a back-to-back game. If there's a 4-day rest period after that, put him in.
Right.
He's the main man. He's number one.
Yeah, so let's break this down. Yeah. Out of the gate, the Flyers were full of adrenaline. All right. They were in shape. Tortorella had them in shape. They were spilling out all camp because he had them nothing but skating, right? Now reality's setting in, right? Everybody else is catching up, right? They're in shape now. They played a couple games together. Their lines are getting a little chemistry together, and that newness, that all that hype, that Tortorella was able to build up in these Bad News Bears Flyers is wearing off. And they're realizing what they really are. They're still playing games very hard. They're finishing their checks. They are clearing guys out. Right. Some of them. Most of them. Some of them. They're clearing guys out in front of the net. Again, most of them. And, the people that should be stepping up, the Kevin Hayes, the Travis Konechny's, the Scott Laughtons are stepping up. They're doing their part.
Impressive.
Yeah, they've been impressive, especially with a lengthy list of injuries, right? Big name injuries in that aspect. So, and the Flyers have been getting some great players stepping up as well, even from the fourth line. That line has been able to really grind and bang and get some cheap goals and stand in front of the net and do some dirty work there and pick up a goal to keep us or in a game or win a game for us. So,
or they've picked a fight, or they've done something to try to motivate the guys, or when the fourth line, because Tortorella started the fourth line against Toronto.
They deserved it. They definitely deserved it. Their play, their hustle is exactly what Tortorella wants from everybody on his roster. And if those guys can go out there, the least talented guys on the team, and put forth that kind of effort where they're the ones notching goals and everything like that into the back of the net, that effort is needed, throughout the rest of the lineup, especially with everybody hurt. So kudos to them. But again, is it sustainable? Is it going to last all season long? I don't think it will. But the only way that it could is if they played Carter Hart for these back-to-back situations. Now, guys, the Flyers have had 3 back-to-backs already this season. They have a total of 15 this year. All right?
15 more on top of what they've already done.
No, 15 total. 15 total.
All right, 15 total. All right.
Yeah, 15 total.
I thought
So
it was 17, but okay.
I could be wrong. Don't quote me on it, but I think it was 15 total.
Okay.
So in those back-to-backs, they have not allowed Carter Hart to play. Like Steele said, I believe they had 3 or 4 nights off even after that back-to-back where Carter Hart could have rested and been able to come back even in that third game straight and had 3 or 4 nights off, right? The kid is 24 years old, all right, guys? He is not a 35-year-old goaltender that's trying to hang on for one more shot at a cup with 2 knee injuries or something like that, right? He doesn't need to be rested like that. To this point, the Flyers have always coddled him, and this is what I said in my article.
Yep.
They had Brian Elliott. They've had Martin Jones prior last season, and these guys were both starters. They were both award-winning starters that, carried teams into the playoffs before as starters and, were able to coddle him and all. But in doing so, the Flyers really hurt Carter Hart's development in my mind. And again, guys, remember, I'm an old goaltender. I know how getting pulled out of the net when you're in your zone and not being able to play consecutive games really can hurt somebody's rhythm and everything like that. And I think it's really done that to Carter Hart in prior years. Now, he's been playing on top of his game this season, but previously, he is only 24. I get that. But the Flyers are now paying him to be the guy. And to this point, his career high in games or career high in starts has only been 44, which is roughly 53% of the starts in a season, right? And if this guy is going to be the guy like they're paying him to be and like they drafted him to be, I believe that they need to start this guy somewhere 60 to 65 games. And
or that 60 to 65% of the games.
At least. Because let's face it here, guys. The Flyers did have a great goaltender coming over originally this season. He won the KHL championship. He won every award imaginable for a goalie last season in the KHL. And, he was going to come over and be a great backup for us, Ivan Fedotov. Again, all that situation with him and Russia and dragging him into the military service and all that, they didn't really go out and try to replace him for this season. Instead, they've let Felix Sandstrom kind of just be gifted the role of it. And, I don't think that they should be using this kid as a 1A option like they did Brian Elliott or Martin Jones in prior years.
I wish we could have just at least kept Martin Jones. I mean, I think would have been the next best goalie in the room.
Yeah. I mean, I can't.
Because we knew that Grossneck wasn't going to be.
No.
They need him. They need him down at the Phantoms.
Right. Yeah. And Sandstrom is drafted out of the same draft class as Carter Hart, but I don't think he's there. He's 25 years old. To date, he's played in 8 career NHL games, and he's won this many.
Yeah, thank you.
Right?
0.
He's won 0. He's won 0 games, and this season alone, he's played in 3, and he's let in 11 goals. All right, 5 last night alone. Okay, Sandstrom is a goalie that is making the stops that he should make. Let me say that, but he does not make the highlight reel stops, maybe 1 or 2 a game, that is needed by an NHL goaltender to keep teams in the game. Carter Hart does that. He will pull a miraculous save out of nowhere and, somebody that loses the guy and it's a breakaway or whatever. Carter Hart makes that stop. This kid does not. This kid does not.
You're right.
He makes the shots that are clear, concise, that he should make, but he doesn't pull that 1 or 2 saves to miraculously stop a puck to keep people in a game.
So what I've noticed about him? He doesn't see well. He doesn't seem like he seems like he's only lined up to the shooter when there's absolutely nobody in front of him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? like as far as being square to the shooter and things like that. I don't see anything. Look, I'm not a goalie, and I've never been, and I don't. But he looks like his mechanics look okay.
Mhm.
He just looks like he's a day late and a dollar short.
Yeah. And with this aspect of the Flyers playing him like he was, Elliott or something, and playing him
Yeah.
all these back-to-backs, I can't foresee, I don't think the Flyers are going to be a playoff team anyway, but, you at least want to try to win every game you can. And if that is the thought process, I can't see them starting Sandstrom, like 38 games a season, 35 games in the season. I can't see that as being sustainable to a winning hockey club. I really can't.
Here's the funny thing.
What are they going to have 38 losses? Like, this guy is not an NHL goaltender. He just lucked out because Ivan couldn't come over.
He just happened to be here. He got lucked out because he just happened to be here. You know what I mean? Here's the thing, though. Tortorella usually, historically, gets better play out of goaltenders because systems tend to be more from the goalie out and tend to be more, defensive minded and things like that. So it's not like, last year you could almost say that, okay, there was very much lack of defense playing in front of these goaltenders. Mm-hmm. So the fact that they're being hung out to dry every single night, well, I don't get that sense this year. Okay. I see that, the goaltenders aren't necessarily being hung out to dry. I'd say we've seen improvements in exactly what you said at the top of the show, Lance. We're seeing some of the players clearing the porch. We're seeing some of the guys finish checks. We're seeing some of those little things that you need to do to help prevent your goaltender from getting peppered.
Well, definitely a defensive system, being actually ran during penalty kills. Before, it looked like last season, the years prior, it looked like guys are just running around everywhere. They have a system in place. They are getting too many shots on net, the opposition, but they are a lot better shots. As far as a goalie is concerned, he can see most of the shots coming in. He is going to be able to react, and they're getting the puck out of in front of him. You're not seeing Carter Hart having to make 3 or 4 consecutive stops because nobody is clearing the puck out or the guy out in front of the net to get rebounds. They are just coming back into the zone, whatever.
Out and being support and,
a lot better, but they're still having way too many shots on net. So,
that's kind of where I think that's kind of where your article goes, because we can't sustain a goaltender who potentially is going to have to start another 30 some games.
Yeah.
And if he's going to continue playing like this, there's no way you can do that. Right. And the team won't be able to sustain anything. And you can't sustain the fact that you're only giving Carter Hart these cherry pick games.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? No, man, he's supposed to be the number one guy. He should be playing 65% of the games.
He definitely should. I would say upwards of 70. And especially because the Flyers have him on a $3-4 million deal, which is kind of a prove it deal, right? In a sense, a lot. Bob's getting paid $10 million a season.
Okay, well, that's Bob.
plus bonuses, right? So we're not getting somebody like that, or $8 or something like $1 million, like some starting goalies are. But you best believe in a year or two, when Carter Hart's deal is up, he's going to be required to be paid that, and thus his play this season.
If his game reflects that, though.
Right. But in a sense, how can it even compare to some of those other top goaltenders if you're not playing him the amount of games?
Exactly.
He's not even playing the amount of games to be considered for some of the awards or some of the, like that, because the other guys are playing 20 more games than him.
Exactly. So that's what I want to see.
Like, I want to see if he's going to be able to be the guy before you pay him, because we all know that Chuck Fletcher tends to overpay people for who he thinks they're going to be in the future rather than who they are right now. And I do not want to see, Carter Hart in 2 years' time signed to some 5, 7, 8 year deal for ungodly amounts of money when he hasn't even had a real chance to prove himself. I think he would actually do better if he did play these back-to-back nights when he is
Not
on.
all of them, but
Not all of them. Not all of them. No, not all of them. But a majority of them, especially like when you said there is a 3 or 4 day layoff after that. You know, um,
or
if
if
there's
it's Florida versus and then also New York, right? Or
if
New
it's
York and then Toronto right after. I mean, I'm sorry, but those are top teams.
right, and that's when he should be playing. Now, if it
Right.
a backup is supposed to be playing the bottom half of the line, I want to see him play. The Montreal Canadiens of last year. You know what I mean, or
Or the
whoever,
Islanders,
the
or
Islanders of
or the
last year. Like,
Buffaloes, or
yeah,
yeah.
the bottom dwelling teams. That's who I want to see Sandstrom play, not Toronto, who has Austin Matthews coming at him.
Mitch Marner and
Like,
True.
come on. This is
That just didn't make sense.
this is easy. This is easy decisions, and I'm tired of hearing some of these people come out and say like, well, you don't want to push Carter hard. He's young. Listen, he's been a professional athlete for 4 seasons now, 5 seasons. Like, if you count the tail end of, one season with the Phantoms. So at what point are you going to start treating him like he should be treated as a thing when he's 30? Like,
sorry,
I mean,
he's 21. He's over 21. He's an adult now. Can we start treating him like one?
he's 24.
We're paying him like one.
He's 24, almost 25. Like, you're only going to get another 5 good years out of him potentially. So at what point are you going to say,
push him
hey,
now? Push him now.
We need you to, especially this season, and that is something. Last season, there was no systems, there was nobody to help him out. They ruined him. But now he's regained his confidence. Now he has Tortorella there to make the guys in front of him play the way they should, or like Justin Braun, he's kicked out of there. You know what I mean?
I have to tell you something. I was deeply happy. Okay, we lost the game, so that really sucked. We lost it really badly because we should have played Carter Hart, and I think we would have had a much better shot. Because let's face it, like what Lance said, we're facing Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews. So come on. But I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of Carter Hart. But I got to tell you, man. This is not going to be sustainable. There's no way that you're going to be able to play a backup goaltender against some of these important teams. You're not going to be able to do it. You have to be able to. Carter Hart has to step up. It's the coddling is over now. Okay.
I believe I wrote an article last year on similar basis. Basically saying like he needs to demand the net. He needs to go to Tortorella and say, I want to play these games. And I believe Tortorella would let him. I believe if he came to him and demanded to be in net versus somebody like Toronto, I think he would get his chance. I believe Tortorella would let him prove his worth.
I got a little sidetracked, but I was so happy last night when I saw Braun not in the lineup.
Hey. Neither was Morgan Frost, right?
And neither was Morgan Frost.
Morgan Frost hasn't been relevant in any game since the first game when he actually showed up?
Yeah. First 2 games, I think. That was it.
Yeah.
He had a couple of assists and a goal or 2, and that was it. And I haven't seen him since.
No.
Right? And I'm dizzy about the fact that Braun is still on this team. The fact that he was even brought back when you've got a handful of guys that are in the minors that could be playing defense. He's a liability, and I think that Tortorella is finally starting to either tell management that look, I can't play with this guy. This guy isn't working out. Can we do something with this guy? You know what I mean? Like it just seems like this is what I've been hoping for. Is okay, Tortorella came in and he has completely replanted a culture in Philadelphia. So in order to have this culture to thrive,
Mhm.
you need to plant some seeds, and you also need to have some certain players that are going to be able to play on that field.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. You look at what he did earlier in the season. He sat Kevin Hayes and he sat Travis Konechny. Why? Because everybody else is injured that is a leader, and he needed them to step up. And what did they do after sitting that third period? They came back and they stepped up since then. And they're now leading the team in points like they should be, right? They
Hello.
it got through to them. But
Yeah.
now you look at other people like Morgan Frost, who he sat and he went out and had a hissy fit and got a bad penalty and everything else after being set. You know, I got no place for somebody like that. You
Lack of
gotta
maturity.
be, yeah, you gotta be, you know, smart enough to realize he's trying to get through to you. That he demands more of you, and if you're not willing to step up and give him that, then he's going to let somebody else try.
And then pretty soon you're not going to be on the team. See, this is what I've been hoping for.
Yeah.
That now he's planted this new culture in Philadelphia, and now I'm hoping that he goes through these players, because he's constantly been saying that he's getting to know the players and he's getting to know the team. He doesn't know anybody. That's why he hasn't selected a captain, and
Mhm.
and all the things. He's saying all the right things, but now I'm starting to see that he maybe might be doing some of the moves that I was kind of hoping that was going to happen, which was, hey, he's starting to see where the deficiencies are,
Mhm.
and he's trying to weed out those deficiencies.
Well, like I said in previous shows, I think that Tortorello is going to come in and maybe not say so much like he did in the past out loud that I don't want this guy on my team, but
Or in
he's
the
gonna.
press.
Right. He's gonna now force them out of the lineup and make them demand a trade, make management realize, like, hey, he must not want this guy in the lineup because he's sitting there. Somebody called me about him. I'm going to take him up on it because we're winning without them, or we're playing at least better without
Yeah,
them in the lineup.
yeah, yeah. The only problem is that ain't nobody going to be calling for the guys that we're going to be trying to get rid of. So we're going to have a real fun time. I mean, it's going to be waiver wire, and then
Hey, can I get a couple of broken sticks, a puck bag with a hole in it, and a
right?
chewed up mouthpiece? Something.
Something. Can I get a helmet that's got a big dent in it?
All right.
But that's kind of where we're at now, because Chuck hasn't really supplied with some quality players. I mean, we're still bringing back Braun. We're still talking about other play. I don't want to. I'm done saying about this kind of stuff, because here's what I want to say, and this is what I've been waiting to say this now for a little while. At the beginning of the season, let me go back even further. At the beginning of last season, I had hope that the team would be okay. We're coming off of a really ugly year, and this is going to be that first year outside of COVID, and things are going to be much more normal. And I was anticipating, with most of the players all coming back from the previous year, was anticipating that this would be a bounce back year. I had hope. There was a couple of little bit of new bloods brought in, and some other things. And I always have hope at the beginning of every year. And then by the time December rolled around, it was like, are you kidding? I can't believe I'm watching this. I can't believe that this team has gone from 18 months ago being in the bubble and in the playoffs to a team that is scraping the bottom of the barrel, and firing their coach, and then letting that simmer from December all the way until a couple weeks before the beginning of the draft.
Hmm.
And this entire offseason, I thought, was a huge, giant waste of time and money and effort. And look at the players that they brought into this team. And now we're seeing this team out on the ice. And we're seeing a coach who has changed the culture here, because, all of the leadership is gone. Couturier hasn't been on the ice for 18 months. Ryan Ellis he's been on, he played 4 games. All right. Okay. How much time has Hayes missed? You know what I mean? There's too many injuries and too many times and too much times guys missed. Okay, that's not an excuse anymore. You need to be able to have the next guy up, needs to be able to be there and do what you need to do. And Chuck has not provided that next guy up. So here we sit with these guys that shouldn't even be on the roster, that shouldn't even be on an NHL team. And Tortorella is like, guys, give me something to work with here. Yeah. I mean, I imagine that that's what he's saying. I hope that's what he's saying, because I'm starting to see that now. I'm starting to see Tortorella say these things, and you know, Justin's Bronze are sitting out and Morgan Frosts are sitting out. I'm trying to have hope for this year. I'm trying to have a positive outlook on this team because I see some good things happening, but I still don't see enough good things happening with this team that I still have the, you know, the cold and pricklies.
Well, I think they're going to be what they're going to be this season. I don't, they have tons of money because the long-term injury reserve is just piling up, right?
Yeah, right.
So they have the money to go out and make a big trade if they want to. Now, would I give away draft picks like everybody's going to want? No. But they could bring players in because I think that's the only way that they're going to be able to do anything. Who wants to sign with this team?
You're not going to be. Yeah, that's right. You're not going to trade.
You're not going to go out and sign free agents for at least a couple of years of any worth, really, unless they're like Johnny Hockey, who grew up in the area and wants to for some reason come here. But I think they're going to be what they're going to be, and at least I can say they're watchable right now because they are playing with who they have on the ice, this band of misfits and everything like that, and bad news bears, as I put it in the article, but at least they're watchable. Last season, they weren't watchable. At least these guys can go out there and they hustle and they play a full 60 minutes of hockey. They're finishing checks. They're doing all the right things. And if they aren't, they're not in the lineup. And like you were saying, that's what I appreciate. That is what I appreciate from John Tortorella. He's doing the most with what he has. All right. And that's all I can really ask.
That's right.
Except for not allowing Sandstrom to be in so many darn games.
I'm gonna throw you one better. I'm gonna throw another player out there better too.
Okay.
Sanheim.
I can't stand
it. Okay, I have tried really hard to look at him and look at his game, and I went back and I looked at some of the game that I had recorded from last year, and I've been really trying to pay very closely attention to Sanheim's game this year. Okay. And here's what I've seen so far.
Makes my stomach turn.
I've seen a lackluster effort.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I've seen half-hearted poke stick checks with one hand. Okay. I've seen him skate away from checks and players of confrontation or hit or whatever. Right. I don't see full hits. I see glancing hits. Right? Like he's not lining somebody up and taking him full steam and boom, skating through him. Yeah. Right? I haven't seen that once, ever from him, ever. Okay? His offense is not worth the liability of him playing defense.
Very well put. I don't see it either. I don't know how a guy can be 6'4" shy of 200 pounds, just shy of 200 pounds, whatever, and not use his size to his advantage. Like you said, how can you have some of the best players in the NHL coming down the boards? You're 6'4". I wish I had that size.
And
not body the guy. Want to just poke check a guy. That is something you do in non-check squirt, kid level hockey. Like what? Why are you not putting this guy? And now they know he won't do that, so they purposely. They could be on the other side of the ice and come all the way across and try to go down his side because they know they can skate right by him.
You're right, because he's not going to put up any fight or anything, Okay, so that's why
That's
I'm saying
another thing. He's not physical like you said, but he won't clear the front of the net. He maybe this season you've seen him after the whistle push a guy or something like that, or wrap somebody up when somebody else is getting in somebody's face for maybe poke checking Carter Hart after the whistle or something, but he's darn sure not going to do it. I mean, I just can't see why management has this fascination with this player because I just don't see it. I do not see it.
And even even some major pundits for the team have said that he was, he had a much better year at the end of the year last year, and he was going to be turning it around and everything like that. And I just not seeing it. Help me see it. Show me where this guy is playing up to his contract. Show me. I want to see it. Please help me to eat crow, because I do. I want to eat crow on that. I really do. Okay. Look, we've said this from the very beginning. We want to see this team win. We want to see him succeed. I think that with Tortorella there, and look, I'm starting. Oh, look, I'm starting to believe in the Tortorella system. I've been, and this is where I'm going to eat some crow. I've been very impressed with his press conferences. I have purposefully been watching his press conferences, waiting for the blow up, waiting for the me, I that used to be John Tortorella. Okay. And I'm not seeing it. Okay. And he's saying the right things. Okay.
I think he's grew up a lot.
I think so too.
I think he doesn't like sitting in the studio. I think he likes being behind the bench and doing what he loves. And I think he's learned from his past mistakes and transgressions or whatever. So he's saying and doing all the right things with the Flyers right now. And
he wanted this. He wanted this. Okay. Yeah. And it shows. Okay. He wanted this and it shows. And I think that I'm going to say this. I'm going to officially say this. I'm going to completely do a 180. I think that he is the right coach at the right time for the Flyers right now. Because I don't think any other coach would be able to get nearly anything out of what this roster is. Now, I'm not saying that there's not some good players on this roster, and I'm not saying that I haven't been impressed by Travis Konechny stepping up, by Kevin Hayes stepping up, by seeing Lawton being the player that we knew he could be if given the opportunity. Right? Because
very much so.
I really feel
he was misused for sure.
Okay.
Or underused. Underused. I really like him as a player.
Okay. So. I really feel that about a lot of the other players that have really shined so far in this season, like Big Mac. Dude, you got to give it up to him, man. He has been that perfect third line guy, right? Like he's not even a fourth liner anymore, right? He has definitely taken on that. He stepped into the old Scott Lawton role, I think. That's kind of how I see that. Okay. Because he does have that offensive skill. He really does.
Well, I mean, most fighters, big men, and you don't make it to the NHL level with just being able to throw fisticuffs.
You
could be really good at that, and there's guys that were really good at that, but you don't make it to the NHL without being able to score and shoot and skate, and at least not anymore. Maybe in the 70s that was a different story, but just like you saw, Big Nick coming down there and putting in a
I've been
goal.
impressed with him too.
I think he's picked the right spots to fight. I think he's been overly aggressive, you know, at the right times when you see somebody take a run at a star player or you know, more popular player, or you know, a late shot on Carter Hart. He's teaching this guys that this isn't an acceptable thing. You know, and if you want to have respect from teams, you will stand up for these guys in these situations. And he's teaching them the way to play the game, because past players here that were in those leadership roles never did so. You know, never
Exactly.
did any of that. So,
And I'm gonna name a perfect player that I want to put into the spotlight on that, and that is Rasmus Ristolainen. Because ever since he's come back from injury, I haven't seen hide nor hair of him. I haven't heard about him. I haven't heard his name mentioned. But
that's a good defenseman. That's a good defenseman.
Okay, so I think that having Nick on the team has been able to help him. Maybe he gets this. This is how you're supposed to play it.
Well, focus more on defense too.
Okay.
I think, you know, Rasmus was out there trying to. He's not a fighter. Rasmus is a big physical player, but he's not a fighter.
Right.
So he you know, doesn't have to do that with McEwen and Nick on the roster now. So he can focus on what's most important, defense.
Exactly.
And, you know, the trying to regain puck control and clear the guys out in front of the net, and you know,
that is what I've been seeing from him. That is what I've been seeing from him, and I've also been seeing him make those first passes.
Yeah.
Okay, those first passes up to the next level. Okay, out of our zone. Okay, I've been seeing he's gotten a lot better at that. Okay, and I like that he's. So the first 5 games I saw this, and now I'm seeing it kind of not so much now. In the first 5 games, I saw all 5 players standing at the blue line waiting for the opposition to come and them standing it up. Now I'm not seeing that quite as much from every single player. I'm seeing that from select players, but not every single player. I really like that. Standing guys up at the blue line, make them work for your ice. Why just let them skate in? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, did you say that out loud?
Sorry.
But that's what I'm talking about.
I would agree with you, and that's just what John Tortorella brings in, and you know what he demands. But I think my standout guy so far, or a guy who's coming on, is Owen Tippett. I really like his play. He had a goal, you know, last game that was very pretty. I think he's always been in the right spot at the right time to really, you know, get a nice shot off or something like that. But I believe that he is regaining his confidence in himself and his abilities, and he's been given the right people to play with. He's not playing last night with Morgan Frost and stuff like that. He's being played with people that can get him the puck in the right situation at the right time so that he can get his shot off. And oh, what a shot he has. So I look to see this guy. I don't know. I want to see him hit 20 goals this year, and I think it's fully capable. He's fully capable of doing that. So
somebody else I've been impressed with too has been Joel Farabee. He started off a little slow, but I think that was mostly due to the injury. Okay, but as the games have gone on, I've seen his game pick up more and more, where he's more involved in the plays now. He's taken more of the shots. His confidence level has gotten a little bit better. You know what I mean? I'm liking how he's coming around too.
He's getting into shape a little bit too.
Exactly. You know who else I really like too has been Sedlak.
Yes, for sure.
Really impressed with him just coming in and just dropping in and being like, all right, cool, I got this.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's a Tortorella guy. He played with him in uh, Columbus, and
Columbus, yeah.
yep, Columbus, and he already knew the system kind of, so he came in. I really love his skating ability and how he drives the net. And when you drive the net, good things happen, right? I don't care how pretty a goal is as long as it counts. So
As
if
long
you
as it
drive,
crosses that line, who cares? You know.
so what, right? And if you gotta, gain a couple more bruises on your body to do so, so be it. And that is just the player that Zedlak is. And I think he is a great pickup for say. I really wanted to see more players, say like Bellows come in, but I really wasn't impressed with Bellows as of yet. He hasn't learned the systems uh, yet. He's kind of been
Let's
skating
give it a
around
let's give him
a
10
little bit
games.
time. Let's get him a little time there.
Yeah.
But I've really seen too much skating around and not being where he's supposed to be on the ice to make a play. Yeah, I mean, that's just what New York was going to send him down for. The kid's got a great shot. I hopefully under the tutelage of John Tortorella, he can kind of get him back on track and playing the way he should be. But that's what I wanted to see in roster filling, when these guys go down. I wanted to see some more talented young players with promise rather than the wily old veterans.
Coddingtons or
Yeah, the
you
widely old
know,
veterans, but I think Zedlak has been proving me wrong in that aspect. The last couple of games, he's really skating. He realizes that hey, I was in the KHL last year. I wasn't even in the NHL. I'm going to make the most of this shot, and that he is doing for
I
sure.
agree. I really liked. I was a little skeptical of that move at the beginning, but that's really turned out to be a pretty good move for the Flyers, and I think he's turned out to be a good addition to the team because he is a Tortorella guy, and he brings that knowledge of the system.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And guys can go to him and be like, so okay, so if this happens, I'm supposed to be over here. How do you know what I mean? And he has that kind of references that he can
Wherewithal of it, yeah, yeah.
exactly because he's played in the system and everything like that too. Um, Obviously Carter Hart has been impressive. I also think that Big Mac has been impressive.
For
Um, we we thought that the writing was on the wall that he was going to probably be gone when Nick was signed, but Big Mac has proven that he is that third line guy. I think he's here to stay.
Well, I don't think he would be a third line guy on a playoff contending team, but he certainly shows the ability to step up in this role with so many people out that he understands that hey, now that Nick's here, I don't have to be that guy so much. I can use my skill set that he does have to be able to contribute a little bit more offensively.
And be that test and be that
Be
that
that
Keith
person.
Jones kind of guy,
Well,
right?
yeah, yeah, or that guy that Konechny was trying to be for so long, but
Yeah,
to be that way, Konechny, you have the offense ability,
you're right.
So I'm happy with Big Mac coming in there as well. He got sent down, and he was gracious about it. He shut his mouth. He
Just
went
like
down to the
Scott Lawton
Phantoms.
did.
He went
Just like
down
Scott
and
Lawton did.
right, he went down and he played his heart out in a couple of games with the Phantoms, and he got a call right back up.
That's right.
Imagine that, right?
And he's been here ever since.
Right.
He hasn't gone down.
But he hasn't sat out.
Yeah, and he hasn't sat out yet either. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I think he's. I kind of had a feeling that something was going to happen. Either he was going to. I was kind of hoping that he would be that one that would step into the Scott Lawton role because I thought that Scott Lawton would be taking a much bigger step this year. Do you know what I mean? I just had that feeling about Scott Lawton. And then when I saw that he had the A and he's the only one wearing a letter, you know what I mean? And he's playing on the second line now, and he has really stepped up as far as, obviously Couturier, if we ever see him again, God bless him. But I have to be honest and say that we were both right when we both picked Scott Lawton to be our next captain, and I think he very well is going to be.
Yeah, we've been calling that for a while, and there's a reason why they call him Sarge. I mean, he he steps up, he takes control, and I mean, I think he's a lot like Keith Primo in that area. He's
Ooh,
not the
good
best.
reference. Yeah.
He's not the best player on the team, but
Nope.
he's going to give it his all every shift, and he did even when the team was not doing so well the past couple of years. He was a bright spot on the team for sure.
Yes, he was.
And and now I think he's going to flourish in this leadership role. He may not have the C, but he's certainly acting like he deserves it. And that's why both of us said that, I think he would be a great candidate for this role, even before the season started. So
Yeah.
I where they're through, 10, 11 games now. It's gonna be rough, like we thought it would be, given the amount of people injured, given the limited star power on this team. But they're gonna fight. They're gonna be, those. I know they're playing across the street, but those fighting Phils, those Broad Street bullies that are gonna give it their all, and they're gonna play that full 60 minutes, and that's all you can really ask from this team in
Lance?
their current state. So
you know what, Lance? I'm gonna tell you something. That's all you need to do to be successful in Philadelphia. You don't have to win championships, because let's face it, it's been we're approaching 50 years here now, people. Since the championship at the cup has been raised here in Philadelphia. And so, you as long as you go out there and give me 60 minutes and play like you're trying to win, then I'm going to be watching you, because I can appreciate that.
Well, I
Okay.
mean, you look at some of the Flyers in the past, and players who I think were great, and some of my favorite players were definitely not the most point dwelling, guys or on the team, were like Sammy Kapanen, and Scotty Upshaw was loved by this organization for his hard work and stuff when he went out there.
I mean, he just really wasn't that good of a hockey player.
Absolutely not, but he gave it his all.
Yeah, he did. I mean, the guy does have heart, but
I think he's got a ring too from
he does.
playing. He got better as the years went on, as does Scott Lawton now. Nobody really thought he would be the player that he is today.
Exactly.
And Rod Brindamore. Rod Brindamore was not that top line guy, but everybody loved him because he gave it his all every time out there. So
okay, but Rod Brindamore is a special case.
Yeah, I mean, he could score, but he wasn't that Eric Lindros type guy,
True.
But I think he was just as beloved as Eric Lindros was when he was here.
I would agree with that.
I see plenty of Brindamore jerseys and stuff around the stadium still.
He of all the Flyers, I can probably tell you that there are 3 all-time Flyers for me, like my all-time favorite Flyer players of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, number 1 is Bernie Perron. I have so much respect for him. I've always loved what he did for the team. I always loved how he was traded and then came back and then was able to be with the team for two cups in a row. Do you know what I mean? I've always had a lot of respect for him and always loved his game. And I always loved his little, the little saying, nobody saves more than Jesus. But Bernie, right? Bernie saves more than, but he's got to be number 1. And then I would have to say number 2 for me would be Johnny LeClair. Okay. All day long, John LeClair, right? And then for me, it's kind of a tie for second or third. I mean, third for me is Desjardins and Brindamore.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, all great candidates for sure. All great candidates for sure. But I mean that those guys I suggested, were the ones that worked hard and weren't the best players on the team, but they went out every night and gave it their all. And I think
Keith Primo was the perfect example of that.
Keith
Darian
Primo
Hatcher was a perfect example of that. I mean,
A hard work guy that's going to give you it all. Mike Richards was a guy I liked too, like
I
that.
mean,
So.
even Desjardins. I mean,
Mhm.
he was not, he was not the guy putting up 50 goals, and he was a defenseman. But man, that dude, like you knew when Eric Desjardins or when Desjardins got the puck on his stick, right? You knew that everything was all right. It was cool. He was gonna make sure that he was gonna get the puck into the zone, and everything was gonna be cool, right?
How many years did he carry Bundy?
Oh man, 6 or 7, I think. He was traded. We got him in the same trade that we got Johnny Leclerc from Montreal. They had won the cup the year prior, and Philadelphia traded and got John Leclerc and Eric Desjardins. And I'll tell you what, man, he even to see him talk about the games and stuff that he played, he stuck around as a development coach for a while. Desjardins did, you know what I mean? And he was even a captain for a season as well too. And man, I tell you what, I just have a lot of respect for him, and he's another one of my favorite players, So there you go. That's my 4 top 3 players. So you did mention about another article.
Yeah, I got some ideas brewing for sure. Yeah.
All right, good deal. Well, folks, you got to be checking out SteelFlyers.com for all of Lance's new articles. The great writer extraordinaire is back, and we are happy to be able to provide the writer extraordinaire's new home now at the SteelFlyers.com as the editor-in-chief. So yeah, man. Lance, I got to tell you something, man. I never thought that we would get past, say, 50. I really didn't. Right? I never thought we were going to get past 50, and I was like, well, wow, we hit 50. It was like, wow, all right, we did 50 shows. Yeah, all right. I can't believe we're at 100. Oh my gosh, man. I can't believe you stuck around with me this long. You still keep coming back. You know what I mean? Willingly. You still keep coming back willingly.
Glutton for punishment, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I got to tell you something, though, man. It's been an absolute pleasure and a blessing to get to know you and everybody that's associated with you. And it's been a joy to watch you blossom into this awesome podcaster that is now out there, pounding the pavement to get interviews, and you know what I mean, and just driven to do this. And I gotta tell you, man, I was really I wasn't leery, but I was just kind of worried at the very beginning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we were both still kind of green. You know what I mean? It was like, man, I didn't really think it was gonna, but man, it worked out really good, and I'm very lucky to have you as a partner and part of what we're doing here at SteelFlyers. And man, I couldn't have asked for a better person to be a good friend and a good person to get you guys all the information you need for the Flyers. And the old goaltender still making the saves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you giving me the platform for sure. Talking to me into doing a podcast. I was never really sold on the idea. Didn't think I would be able to handle doing it, but I enjoy it. I enjoy it now. Look forward to it every week, and I'm glad you guys do as well. So hats off to you guys. We wouldn't be here without you. So.
Exactly. And that's the other thing I wanted to say too. The fact that we have made this many shows is a tribute to our listeners and our fans and you folks out there that are listening to us. And listen, we wouldn't be here if it wouldn't be for you guys. So please hit the like and subscribe. We really appreciate all the support that you guys give us. It's great. Check us out at HCKY Writers Inc. On Twitter. That's the Twitter account. And then you can also check all the great shows and all the articles on the Hockey Writers Inc. webpage at steelflyers.com/link. links/Hockey Writers Inc. So that's in all of the descriptions for all the shows here. So you got to go check that out. Lance, man, thank you. Thank you for 100, and hopefully we get to do 100 more.
Hey, God willing, right?
Right, God willing, we get to do 100 more. You know what I'm saying? So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for checking us out. Lance, your host.
Yes, sir. You can always check me out, guys, on Twitter as well. I have my own Twitter at Lance.Green at 39 or 39.
Yeah, there you go. That, you sure about that? That's Lance
I don't know.
39.
Yeah.
Lance Green 39 on Twitter, and then for sure. And you guys can also drop us a line, man, at Hockey Writers Inc. At SteelFlyers.com for the email. So drop us a line. Let us know what you guys think. Make the comments, and thank you to Spreaker for all of your help and getting us out to all the podcasting platforms. All you have to do is go to Apple or iHeart or Google or Amazon, type in Hockey Writers Inc., and you'll see us and we'll pop up. And please follow us and give us a high rating so we can keep rolling with this. So thank you very much for watching us, and we'll catch you all in the next episode of the Hockey Writers Inc.
Thanks, guys.